Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to use Crusoe when reading long and complex articles and books so that you can then reread them later in just a few short minutes. Here's an article I read this morning, and it's really long. I mean, I thought it was fantastic, but there's no way I'm going to remember all this down the road. I'm not sure I could even remember it by the end of the week. And when I say remember it, I mean I want to be able to recall specific paragraphs. I want them to come to my mind at the exact moment when I can put them to use. And now you'll see that in a later video that Crusoe can actually grant that wish. But in this article, I'm going to show you how to read an article like this the first time so you can then reread it in just a couple minutes later on. Normally I'll read an article like this with a pen in hand and I'll really mark it up. These days, however, I use Evernote's fantastic web clipper to create separate notes for each of my highlights. And then I link each of those highlights to the main article in Crusoe. And here is how it looks when I'm done. I have the full article on the right, and on the left are all my highlights. If I tap on the magnifying glass on any note icon, I can open it up and see what the note says. If I want to sit down and read the full article again, well, here it is. But I'll never have to do that again because here on the right is everything that interests me about the article. And I gave each of these notes a really provocative title. Well, provocative to me anyway, so that I know what the note is all about and I know why I thought this highlight was worth saving in the first place. If you do a good job writing your titles, you can remind yourself of all the key points in the article without opening a single note. In many cases, I'll recall the whole highlight just by reading the note title. And when I need more information than that, I'm only a tap away. When we designed the note icons in Crusoe, our objective was to give you as much information as possible without ever opening the note. It only takes a couple moments to open a note, but it does eat up a lot of time and it really breaks up your workflow when you have to open every note. Later on, you'll see that Crusoe is about following pathways of links, taking turns in your research, and then going back and turning a different direction. And that wouldn't work if you had to open every note along the way. So first and foremost in our design efforts was to give the user big note icons with full titles. And you can see a sizable part of the body of the note too. So again, at a quick glance of just your note icons, you can really take in a lot of information fast. And this is how, in most cases, you can reread long and complex articles and books in just a few quick minutes versus the hour or two it might take you to sit down and read the whole piece again. Okay, one last thing. You'll notice that each of my highlights is numbered. I do that so that I can sort the highlights by title, and then I can see everything in the order that it appears in the article. I recommend starting your numbering with 01, 02, 03, etc. because if you start numbering with 1, 2, 3, then it won't sort the way you want it to if you have over 10 highlights. And if you use the same convention in a long book and you think you might end up with more than 100 total highlights, you would want to begin your numbering with 001, 002, and so on, and then go to 010 for 10, 011 for 11, etc. Okay, anyway, that's it for today. If you have any questions or comments, please let us know.